But before I talk about the research, the premium resources we use, let's meet the team. Now, unfortunately, Maureen didn't have a picture of herself as a child, so it looks a bit like a family photograph with Maureen as the mum. But what I want to emphasise the fact is that the majority of us all have experience working in advertising agencies or with advertising agencies. My background is working at BBH, many years as a senior researcher, heading up a lot of the new business pitches with the heads of new business. I also headed up Golly Slater's insight function, and I worked outside of that sphere, working at Mintel for a number of years, working directly with advertising agencies. So we can, as a whole, we can anticipate and respond to a great many of the specialised requests that you might level at us. So not just, say, for example, on a particular market sector, but say on particular questions on advertising effectiveness. So one of the things I want to say in the launch is we now subscribe to a lot of premium research sources. Premium, I mean, in the sense that if you wanted to get access to these outside of using the Insight Centre, you'd have to pay for a hefty subscription or buy a report. So there's clear value coming to us. And I'm going to just run through the various research sources we now have. YouGov Sixth Sense, you might have heard of Mintel. It's similar, but in a lot of ways it's a lot better. In terms of the reports tend to ask more questions and a greater number of greater sample size, which means you can drill down into the nitty-gritty for specific requests. Now, one of the things I mentioned to a couple of attendees just now, iconoculture. Now, whereas I'd say that YouGov is the right brain, iconoculture is the left brain. They've got left brain thinking. They have teams in 16 countries worldwide monitoring emerging trends and observations. So what this means for you is that we get access to a lot of new cool stuff before it's picked up in the national press. We also have access to a survey of 26,000 consumers, which we can interrogate across those 16 countries. So they ask all things such as lifestyle values, for example, the importance of beauty, shopper habits, technology ownership. So, countless questions, and feel free to get in contact afterwards and I can fill you in. Now, IBISWorld is a little bit different from both of those. They're what you could say a niche report specialist. They cover off different sectors of the economy by standard industry classification. So they cover everything from accountancy services to zoological parks. So I think the advantage in our respect is that in our position, servicing over 300 agencies, we get asked a lot of very specialised questions, and this helps cover off quite a few of them. Now, trajectory. I always struggle to present trajectory. I think it's a presentation in its own right. But I did ask my contact, Michael Brennan, to give me a sum up of what trajectory means to him. And this is it. It's an independent consumer insight and futures consultancy company focused on everything from primary research to advanced statistical analysis, forecasting econometrics across 20 international markets. The way I normally sell it is that it's founded by the people that also ran the Henley Centre and Future Foundation. Keynote, you're probably familiar with Keynote. It's been around for donkeys, 30 years or so. The strength of that is that we have direct access to TGI data that's within the reports. And there's also advertising spend within that from Ad Dynamics. Both of those are the gold standard for planners. And one of the tools that we've traditionally used called LexisNexis, which is a news aggregator. So moving away from the resources and talking about how we can help you, well, it's quite straightforward, really. New business pitches and client retention. And I see us fitting in two key areas in your work within the agency. That is when you say, for example, with new business, you get a brief over from a potential client, and you want to understand the landscape of a sector you've never worked in before. I also think that we can fit when you've got a really great idea you want to sell to your clients. From what I hear from many of my contacts is that clients are increasingly risk averse, and what we do is provide data-driven insights that mean that you've got a great idea and you can sell that. As I said before, we use a lot of premium research, which would cost a hefty price outside of using us, but if you come to us, we're free to use and you're welcome to use us as much as you like. We do answer by order receipt, and if we're extremely busy, there might be a bit of a waiting time. We do aim 48 hours, but it might be a bit longer, but the wait's worth it because what you get back is fantastic. And it's a confidential service. The more information you give to us, the better. That means we can actually go to our resources, interrogate them more effectively, and return a more insightful response to you. And it's quite straightforward. Just email insight@ipa.co.uk, or if you want to have a chat, feel free to give us a call via the switchboard. I think the major difference from where we were before is that obviously it's run by a market research expert, me, and we can help you come to a better idea on exactly what you're looking for. So we can give you advice and suggestions, and that might help you, spur your creative juices. So thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Lauren, and as Jim said, I'm going to be talking to you about what we do every day, which is put together insight packs, and this particular one's looking at health and beauty, and in particular the current state of the market and some future trends and innovations. So you already saw this, but this is basically saying that the current revenue is 3.5 billion, and pretty predictably there was a bit of a dip in the market after the recession, which is slowly but steadily getting a little bit healthier, and this is mainly due to people having an increase in disposable income. Supermarkets have been a main driver of growth, and a lot of them have come out with their own lines and their own brands. And in particular, Marks and Spencer's has done quite well, with one of their foundations being ranked on a par with Dior and Estee Lauder, which is obviously fantastic for them. So this is looking into the lipstick effect, which is whereby even though people have had to cut back on big ticket items because of the recession, people are still willing to spend money on smaller items like cosmetics, because buying a lipstick or a nail varnish can just give you a little bit of a pep if you can't really spend money on anything else. Skincare revenue has actually increased 26% in the last 5 years, and men's grooming products are a sector to watch, as Boots have stated that male skincare sales have increased 25% in the last 5 years. So this is looking at where people go to find information on the health and beauty products that they buy. As you can see, people is still the highest, with almost 50% of people still looking to their friends, families, celebrities, salespeople, anything like that. And then down at the bottom we have the internet, which is more social media that number accounts for, which obviously has been increasing in recent years and will be increasing further. Editorial is particularly interesting because that accounts for blogs and video blogs or vlogs, which have been absolutely booming in recent years, with some beauty vloggers having millions and millions of subscribers and viewers, and a great opportunity for advertisers to slip in an advert before 4 million people watch a 5-minute video on how to put on mascara, for example. So electronic beauty. This is a huge driver of the innovation in the innovation side of the market at the moment, and electronic epilators have actually, sale of these has grown by 6% since 2010. The current market's worth £47 million. And skin cleansing, electronic take-home skin cleansers are also growing in sales recently. Clarisonic's the market leader, but Philips have just released a new laser technology device, and the market in America for these kinds of devices is $500 million, so it's huge, but they're a lot newer over here. So we'll probably be seeing a lot more of those coming out. So again, this is something that's been around recently, but this is Tesco. And they introduced an interactive technology, including an augmented reality mirror and a digital mannequin. And the digital mannequin was actually banging on the window and trying to beckon people into the shop, which I think is quite funny. The aim of this is just to create a multi-channel experience for their consumers, and it provides insight into how the customer's interacting with their product. So, for example, with this interactive kiosk, this store found that a lot of people were looking for more accessories because they were searching more for them, and so they managed to cater to the consumer through that. And these are just some more digital innovations. This is Japanese company Shiseido. It actually came out in 2010, and it's a technology to just enhance the customer's interaction with the product. So it's a digital mirror, so you look into the camera at the top and you can try on makeup, and it also gives you more information about the products and additional information and some beauty tips, and then you can also take snapshots and compare those. And it's for people who, if you're going makeup shopping in your lunch break, say, you don't want to try on nighttime smoky eye makeup then have to wipe it off and go to work looking like you're crying. So it's just an easy tool to help people hopefully buy more products. So this is talking about the mobile channel and how important it is for brands to tap into the fact that everyone has a smartphone now, and they're really missing out on connecting with the consumer, particularly in store. And it's just an opportunity to create a new interface through apps and push notifications for discounts. And in particular, there's a company called Blipper, which has just released their Blip to Buy app, which is where if you go into a shop and there's a poster, you can use the app to sort of scan it, and it comes up with exclusive content and discounts that you otherwise wouldn't be access to unless you had the app. So this is just showing that 61% of smartphone owners like to find bargains when they're shopping, even though they don't actually need to save money. So again, this is a way for brands to just tap into that and send people push notifications and say, if you download this app, you can get 5% or whatever off your next purchase. And this is something that brands really aren't tapping into yet, and something that they really need to in order to get connected to the smartphone user market. And this just sort of summarises what I've been saying, and the fact that the market is predicted to have a slow and steady recovery, but that does really rely on people buying these new innovative products and spending money on premium brands and premium products. And now I'm just going to pass over to Rachele, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about Beyond Beauty and look into some ads that are focused towards women. So thank you very much.
What I'm going to be talking about, like Lauren, is about women and beauty. But I'm looking, rather than at product innovation, I'm looking at the messaging that we use to women, the way we've traditionally spoken to women, and the way marketers are beginning to speak to women, basically to tap into changing cultural norms, changes in the marketplace, and changes in the way we live today. So because the woman is different than she used to be, we need to change our messaging to her, because otherwise she's not going to buy our products, is basically what I'm getting at. I'm going to start this with a little Mitchell and Webb sketch, which made us all laugh a great deal. This is what we're trying to get away from, by the way.
Ow! My stomach.
Do you suffer from gut agony?
And my head.
Tension head? Got that bloated feeling?
Oh.
Inevitable wrinkles? The beginnings of lady moustache? And now you've pissed yourself again? Women, you're leaking, aging, hairy, overweight, and everything hurts. And your children's clothes are filthy. No wonder men long for other, less clammy women. For God's sake, sort yourself out.
Now I'm free to live my own life, my way.
Men, shave and get drunk. Because you're already brilliant.
When our team actually sat down to brainstorm a few weeks ago in preparation for this event, we actually found ourselves talking about mainly different ads that seem to show a different story from the ones we were traditionally used to seeing. For example, this is one of the first that we talked about. You can see there's a woman sitting there watching TV, and her husband or boyfriend is getting a snack for her. And this is quite significant in that it's generally the other way around. And it might seem like a small detail, but it's taken the industry a good 50 years to get here. And we think that this shows signs of the changes to come. So the next part of this presentation is actually going to be focused on the sports market. And this is because when we're trying to think of what market exemplified for us the kinds of messaging we would like to see, we came up with athletics brands. Now, why is this? The main reason is actually quite basic in that the beauty market struggles to find adequate messaging for its products, because essentially what a beauty product does is draw attention to the fact that you aren't as beautiful as you would like to be, that you aren't as thin as you'd like to be, that you aren't the thing that you would want to be. And it's saying, look, this, and that is wrong with you. Whereas sports essentially plays on performance and on achievement and on narratives of triumph. This is the idea of pushing your body to the limit and testing it and showing to the world that you can achieve something. So this is Under Armour in the US, which is a US deodorant brand. Now, they are very clear about their product being used for armpits, not underarms, because they're not looking to airbrush language or images. So their idea is to redefine athleticism and the female athlete. So their whole campaign was centered on the fact that the female athlete is not something to be gawped at. And, you know, she may have a fantastic body, but that's not what you're meant to be looking at. You're meant to be looking at her performance. And that women who are engaged in sports should be thinking about their goals such as, you know, achieving a personal best, not necessarily, you know, fitting into a smaller jean size. So their social media campaign was centered around the idea of posting, you know, your goal and posting a photograph of yourself or whatever, and then having friends chart your progress and, you know, and celebrate with you once you had won a marathon or run a marathon or you know, lifted a certain amount of weights or whatever. In conclusion, I think that these ads reflect that to be a woman is to be more than a mother and a wife, and that the industry is picking up on that and seeing the degree to which that can be amplified. Beauty has come to encompass a lot more than an hourglass figure, long eyelashes, and that no matter what kind of product innovation you look at in terms of you know, enhancing beauty, the messaging around that has to be a little bit more complex and has to take into account the other facets of your audience's life, and that beauty is just a part of it. Femininity isn't just double D breasts, or isn't double D breasts, depending on what you look like, is associated with ambition and athleticism and political activism and career ascendancy and a whole host of other aspects that go beyond the surface. And it's this will to succeed in all arenas and to break through any glass ceilings that our mothers may have left intact. What's especially interesting about these ads to our mind wasn't just the skill with which they deconstruct gender, and they do it very well. It's the way they actually subvert stereotypes to strengthen the brand message. So what they actually are showing and putting in practice is the fact that feminism isn't a dirty word, but can actually be a very invaluable tool for any marketer looking to market to women. Thank you.